This could be the beginning of the end. The beginning of the end of all the naysayers, the doubters, and the people that say Arsenal are not moving properly in this transfer window. Myself, along with many others, have praised heavily what Liverpool have done thus far with Frimpong, Gyökeres, and of course Wirtz joining, plus the deals they're working on with Ekitike, Isak and Guehi. Yes, Manchester City just went out of the Club World Cup to El Hilal, but we've seen the ability of Turkey. We know what Reinders can do. Eight Nori is going to be a huge success, and they will spend more. They've been rightfully praised for it. Arsenal, for one reason or another, whether you like them or not, have been slower so far in this transfer window. But big news this morning about their pursuit of Eze. We spoke about that last night, and now two big reports. Massive reports this evening that could pave the way to one of the most epic title races in Premier League history. Plus, at least for a short period of time, stop the doubters and maybe we can get on to talking about football again. But reports from Sasa Tavolieri, and maybe more importantly to many people, L'Equipe in France, who are highly credible, that Arsenal are advancing their talks, their negotiations with Sporting Lisbon to land Viktor Gyökeres. Now, my instant gut reaction to that is pain. My instant feeling to that is frustration. As a Man United fan, I want this player so much. And in recent days and weeks, there was a lot of thought that Benjamin Sesko was the number one target, and I hope that was true. But what I've tried to do throughout this transfer window is be as open-minded to every potential transfer as possible. So not shut down avenues and shut down conversations just because it's not what Joe Bloggs likes, it's not what Mark Smith likes, it's not what Tom, Dick or Harry finds offensive. It's about looking at the stories, giving my opinion on them, which is worth no more than yours or anybody else's, and then just seeing what happens. I love the transfer window for that. What I don't like is this move, because Gyökeres to Arsenal is powerful, potent and dangerous, and I will put my neck on the line, metaphorically of course, and say this has the ability to be every bit as transformative to Arsenal and the Premier League as Erling Haaland joining. 39 goals in 33 league appearances last season is not to be scoffed at. 1.25 goals every 90 minutes. And a lot of people talk about, well, he's got a lot of penalties. He scores 0.87 goals per 90 minutes that are not penalties. And I stated that really poorly, but his non-penalty goals per 90 minutes comes in at 0.87. This man is prolific. He scores penalties, he scores tap-ins, he scored a few belters, can score with his head. That gets criticism, but I've absolutely seen it. He boasts a shooting accuracy of over 70% last season. In summary, this is a top-tier goal threat. 100, I want to double-check this here, because I was writing this all down earlier. I just want to get it right. 97 goals in 102 games for Sporting Lisbon since 2003. And I don't care that it's in Portugal. I don't care. Even if 30% of those goals drop away because there's a difference in the quality that he's playing against, he is still a prolific goal scorer by a country mile. And he's efficient. He's efficient because he scores above his XG, which in itself is high. And why is his XG high? Yes, Sporting are a good team, but Arsenal are better. But it's because his spatial awareness is brilliant. He knows when to peel off of a strike, off a defender, where to find the space. When you watch Arsenal play last season, the amount of times the ball would be put into the right place, but the run wasn't made. And to the casual football fan, that will be seen as a poor decision by the winger or a bad pass because possession was lost. But to real football supporters, people that understand this game, will look at it and say, if there was a striker there making that run, the scenario could have been very, very different indeed. There's no doubt about that in my mind. So I look at this man, the amount of goals that he scores, his clinical efficiency, and he's also a bit of a creative threat. He sits in the 92nd percentile for chances created, or XA, expected assists, because, of course, people miss the chances that you create for them, and that's not always your fault. For someone who's sort of seen as a little bit of a sluggish, a little bit of a brute, a little bit of an unsophisticated, in many people's words, centre forward, to be in the top 90, into the 92nd percentile for chances created in the Portuguese top flight, again, I think is no mean feat. I think is no mean feat whatsoever. He has power and he has pace. He understands the English game because he's played in the Prem, he's played in the Championship, plays internationally, he's played in the Champions League. Barring scoring these goals for a Premier League side, he has done it. He's doing it now at every single level. There's always a risk when you buy from outside the Premier League. There's always a risk when you buy inside the Premier League. But generally, it's reduced somewhat with sales of this, purchases of this significance. But for me, I've said it all along, I don't think Šeško would be a bad signing. I don't think Šeško is going to take Arsenal backwards. I don't think it stops them being in the title race. But for me, Viktor Gyökeres, he's a game changer. He's a game changer in the match. But as I say, also, I think it's one of those moments where you will see, forget rivals for a moment, they'll find a way to slag it off. That's their job. Okay, again, as a Man United fan, I want to do it. I just like being unbiased and being honest. It's just the way that it's just what I've become as I've got older. Some people like it, some people despise it. Great, crack on with your life, mate. But for me, the one thing it's going to do, it's going to make people stand up and take note. To all the Arsenal fans that have been angry all summer, I think that subsides. I think it is the medicine. It is the remedy. It's the band-aid, the stitches. It's your mother putting you on your lap and giving you a hug when you've got a boo-boo. It will calm things down. And I think, again, just taking myself out as a rival for a moment and speaking objectively, it's what Arsenal need. Arsenal really need their fan base to get behind them. I've long since believed that Arsenal Football Club play better when their supporters are anywhere ranging between happy to excited, but largely in support of what they're doing. When there's sort of civil wars internally, players being attacked, every single decision being over-scrutinised, and some of it is justified, and I'm not saying that it isn't, but I don't believe that Arsenal is a happy hunting ground when that environment exists. And I'm only going by the fact that, yes, I understand why at the latter end of the Wenger era people were angry, and the beginning stages of Arteta's era they were angry, but it wasn't until the feel-good factor arrived that things started to improve. And I do think there's an element of causation and correlation. But before anyone goes mad at me, the club have to do something to help this. They need a remedy. And I think if these stories tonight are true, and I'm sure there's going to be some counterclaims. There's going to be some counterclaims from probably the Portuguese outlets first, if I'm going to be honest with you, that no, it's not advancing, or no, these stories are not true. But either way, a deal like Gyökeres, a deal like Rodrigo, a deal like Eze, these are the remedies to get Arsenal fans excited, fully behind their team, most of them behind their manager, ahead of this new season. But I want to know what you all think. I want to get your opinions on this. Do you believe Sacha Tavernlieri, who called, and I want to make sure I get this deal right, he was the guy who, again, many months ago, Zubamendi deal, he was well ahead of the game on that, along with Sammy McBell. L'Équipe for me have always been an outlet that have got a lot of stories right early on. Don't get everything right, because the world changes. But for me, they're fairly credible. You'll be able to find things they've got wrong, there's no doubt about it. But I want to know your views and opinions. Do you think this is going to advance in the way in which is being stated tonight? Do you still think Arsenal, in the end, are going to go for Benjamin Šeško? I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions in the comments section below. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. I'll see you soon. Peace.